Hey, I'm sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, you guys can get back in here. I tried to reconnect back to the other live, but it didn't work, so I had to start over. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. All right, we'll go ahead and wait for you patrons to join back in. Unbelievable. There we go. Welcome back, Robert. Let's see if I can actually get this one to show as live. There we go. Hey, Richard. Welcome back, sis. Oh, man, that sucks. Hey, look, there's another video that you guys can like now. Son bitch. Oh, boy, I'm telling you, man. Oh, man, I was really enjoying that. Unbelievable. All right, we're gonna rewind this. Just actually, we'll just go ahead and play it from right there.
Southern border. You want to talk about America first, peace through strength and common sense? It all manifests in one basic phrase down there. Border security is national security. And we had the task of 100% control, and because of these men and women back here, we've achieved that. Nobody is crossing the southern border. And I want to give a big shout out to our Northern Command, General Guillot. From day one, our department didn't look at the border this way before you. Joe Biden allowed an invasion of this country. Tens of millions of people, drugs, gangs, violence, and the military jumped to it on day one with our partners. Ultimately, it was incredible Americans. There's 13 up here with us today. They all represent about 2,000 people who've served at the border so far. So 25,000 Americans qualify for this Mexican National Defense Border Medal that we're announcing today. And what's cool about this medal, it was actually first given out in 1918. So we're reviving an old medal that existed, was given to men and women who defended the southern border. We found out about it. We used the exact same foundry with the exact same imagery, same color, same medal, same everything. So our men and women will be wearing that very same medal as Americans 100 years before who were asked to defend the sovereignty of our country. President Trump was elected to do that. You have done that, Mr. President. We're proud of this mission. We're proud to defend the American people. And pinning these medals on is an example of how important it is to us. So thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, I want to echo your thanks and gratitude for the joint force. I also want to highlight General Guillot, General Nauman, and Command Sergeant Major Johnson, but also leaders at every level that came together, not just in our joint force, but in the interagency. And I want to specifically highlight our Border Patrol teammates and our Office of Air and Marine teammates who, when I went down to the southern border and visited, were right there next to the joint force. I also want to thank not just these 13 individuals, but the joint force that was also down there and your families who poured in to make this deployment possible on the southern border. And of course, this time of the year, I'm always thinking about our currently deployed forces who are out there around the world doing our nation's business, and of course our fallen and their families who show us what courage and tenacity really are as they move forward after the loss of a service member. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Please. You know, it's always an honor for me to be in the Oval Office with the greatest president of my lifetime. Yes, I said it, and I meant it. You know, I just got home last night. I toured the border in California, Arizona, and Texas. I did it in a four-wheel drive. I did it on the river. I did it from the air. Hundreds upon hundreds of miles of border. I didn't see one illegal alien. Not a single one. I've done this since 1984. I worked for 6 different presidents. No one's done more than President Trump. What he has done is gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Hard stop. I went to hundreds of miles of border and didn't see one illegal alien. Incredible, considering the Biden administration, we had 10, 12,000 a day, most released in the United States. I'm proud to be with these patriots behind me. I'm already proud to be in the Oval Office of the President, but being with these heroes, I met some of these soldiers down on the border. And actually, a shout out to Fort Drum, New York. We got some 10th Mountain Division here, so Elise Stefanik, Claudia Tennant, we all love Fort Drum and the 10th Mountain. So look, this is a game changer. I want to make something perfectly clear, because we get attacked all the time being inhumane. The Biden administration is much more humane. It's a bunch of crap. Because there's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped. And not just the women, children too. I've done numerous investigations in that. Sex trafficking was at historic highs with that open border. Fentanyl, historic highs that killed 250,000 Americans. No inspector terrorists that came across the border. Record, historic. What happened under the Biden administration was the most inhumane thing I've seen in my lifetime. Now that the border is 96% decline, 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life. President Trump brought together one hell of a team here, and the success proves. We all working together, one team, one fight. We're not done yet. We're going to keep going, and I guarantee you we're going to continue saving thousands and thousands of lives. Secure border means strong national security. Secure border saves lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, let's do the medals, and I'll be signing this. Maybe you'll do the medals first, and then I'll sign, okay? Please. Nice medal. It's not bad. That's a great job. Thank you, Mr. That's great. Thank you. Great job. Great job, fellas. No auto pen. None, ever. We don't like auto pens, right? We don't, sir. We don't like auto pens? How about gathering around me, and we'll hold this up. Congratulations, it's an amazing job. Come on around, come on around. Let's take a good picture. Fantastic job. You guys, fantastic job. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Great job. What you've done is unprecedented. How about holding that up? You guys hold it up. Nice. Hold it up high. You deserve it more than me. So I'm going to give you another medal, though, that may be more beautiful. I'm not sure it means as much, but it's really good, okay? This is gun medal. This is the one the military loves. So we're going to start, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, dear. Here you go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Pretty nice. Want to compare it? Let me see, compare it. Let me see how that looks. I don't know. That looks pretty good.
Thank you, Mr.
But
President.
that means something very special.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President.
What you can do, tie it around your neck. Just a nice ribbon. I think you'll like it. It's special. We don't give them to many people.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Come on over here. Come here. Look at this guy.
The man's made it happen, sir.
That's 4 sides up big. That means a lot up there. Hey, General, come on over here, even though you have one. I gave him one. No, this general right here, General Raisin Cane. He's a great general. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor. This is a fantastic moment. I haven't done this before. And the job they've done on the border is unthinkable. What they left us with, that they would have open borders with millions of people, 25 million people, probably more than that, pouring into our border, totally unchecked and unvetted. Now we have the opposite. And we want people in our country, but they have to come in legally. And they know that, and they know they're not getting through, so now they don't even try. So all of the death that Tom Holman talked about, the rape and the death and all the problem doesn't really happen because the caravans, a name I think I came up with, maybe not, but the caravans are very small. In fact, for the most part, they don't even exist anymore because they know they're not going to get through. In a little while, you'll be seeing, I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth, literally. They put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that I never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something. So we'll be bringing that lawsuit. A lot of people are asking, when are you bringing that lawsuit? Even the media can't believe that one. They actually put terrible words in my mouth having to do with January 6th that I didn't say. And the beautiful words that I said, right? The beautiful words, talking about patriotism and all of the good things that I said, they didn't say that, but they put terrible words. They actually have me speaking with words that I never said, and they got caught because I believe somebody at BBC said, this is so bad, it has to be reported. That's called fake news. So we'll be filing that suit probably this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you have any questions, I guess you could ask, but this is really a day of celebration for these people. The job they've done is really unprecedented. So go ahead.
On Brown University, Mr. President, do you know what the motive of the shooter was? Is it, was
No, we
it a targeted
don't. No,
attack?
it's, that's moving along now. And we don't. And we're going to see what happens. Hopefully they're going to capture this animal. Hopefully they're going to capture it.
Has Kash Patel told you why it's been so difficult for the FBI to identify who the shooter is?
Well, it's always difficult. So far, we've done a very good job of doing it with Charlie, with, the various times this has happened. They've done it in pretty much record time. But you really have to ask the school a little bit more about that because, this was a school problem. They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything, but you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact, and the FBI will do a good job, but they came in after the fact.
Do you know if it was targeted, Mr. President?
No, they don't know that yet, no.
Sir, on the issue of drugs, is it accurate that you are considering an executive order to reclassify marijuana under the control?
We are considering that, yeah.
Okay. Are you planning?
Because a lot of people want to see it, the reclassification, because it leads to tremendous amounts of research that can't be done unless you reclassify. So we are looking at that very strongly.
Mr. President?
Mr. President,
Katie?
is it true that the reports that you rebuked the Israeli Prime Minister?
Please.
Are the reports that you rebuked the Israeli Prime Minister for the hit on the Hamas general true? And is Israel undermining your efforts to be a peacemaker?
No, Israel and I have gotten along very well. My relationship with Bibi Netanyahu has been obviously a very good one. Look, we took out Iran. We wiped out, with that plane right there, we wiped out the B-2 bomber. We wiped out the Iran nuclear threat. And because of that, we were able to make peace in the Middle East. No, we've had a very good relationship with Israel. We actually have a very good relationship with just about everybody in the Middle East.
But was that a violation of the ceasefire, the strike on the Hamas general?
We're going to have to see. We're looking into that. We're looking into it.
Mr. President, on the Syria ambush of U.S. forces, do you still have confidence in the Syrian president?
I do. I mean, this had nothing to do with him. This is a part of Syria that they really don't have much control over. And it was a surprise. He feels very badly about it. He's working on it. He's a strong man. And no, this had nothing to do with the Syrian government. This had to do with ISIS.
What will the U.S. response be?
As a response, they'll be hit hard. Yeah.
Javier Negre, Real America's Voice en Español. First of all, thanks for honoring these heroes. The communists have lost Chile. The pro-Trump candidate, José Antonio Caz, won the elections. Do you think this right-wing wave in the Spanish world is due to your influence?
Well, we just had a good one in Honduras, as you know. Had a great election there. I endorsed somebody that was not leading, and he won the election. And we had a good one just a couple of hours ago, I found out, in Chile. The person I endorsed, who was not leading, ended up winning quite easily. So I look forward to paying my respects to him. I hear he's a very good person.
Yeah. Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. This year you fired Democrats from a number of federal agencies. And now going into 2026, there are some key regulators like the SEC, the CFTC that are going to have 0 Democrats. Do you plan to appoint Democrats to fill those empty spots, or do you think that federal agencies shouldn't have Democrat commissioners?
Well, do you think they would be appointing Republicans if it were up to them? So, we'll look at it. Look, we want to be fair, but typically they're not appointing Republicans. So you're asking me the question whether or not I'd appoint Democrats. But there are certain areas that we do look at, and there are certain areas that we do share power. And I'm open to that, please.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. It was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country. Yeah.
Blue slips, Mr. President. Leader Thune doesn't seem like he wants to get rid of blue slips. Will there be consequences for the Senate if they?
Well, I think they should get rid of blue slips because, as a Republican president, I am unable to put anybody in office having to do with U.S. attorneys or having to do with judges. In other words, if you have one, not two, you don't need two, just one. If you have one Democrat senator, where we have a lot of them, you have one Democrat senator in a state, it is not possible to appoint, because of blue slips, a judge. It's not possible to appoint a U.S. attorney. You see that happening. And I think it's a disgrace. I think blue slips are a disgrace. They've long since, they should not be relevant anymore. This is a different world than it was 15, 20 years ago. That was a gentleman and gentlewoman world. This is a little bit different, unfortunately. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, what do you want to see Congress do this week as it relates to health care and the expiring ACA?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to see the people get the money. I'd like to see all of the money that's going to the Democrat insurance companies. The insurance companies are making a fortune. They're up 1,700% and more. And they're taking in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, even trillions of dollars. And Obamacare gives you terrible health care. just so you understand, Obamacare was set up, and I said it right from the beginning, for the benefit of the health insurance companies, of the insurance companies. They're making billions and billions of dollars. Their stock is through the roof. I don't want to give them anything. I want all money going to the people and let the people buy their own health care. It'll be unbelievable. They'll do a great job. They'll get much better health care at a much lower cost.
Sir, would you like Republicans next year to just use reconciliation to do with health care exactly what you laid out, and they wouldn't have to worry about Democratic votes?
Well, that or knock out the filibuster. If you knocked out the filibuster, it would all go away, but we have a few people that wouldn't do that. It's crazy. Look, we should knock out the filibuster. And if you did that, we'd get voter ID, you'd have no mail-in voting, all things that make our elections dishonest, and you'd get a lot of other things having not even to do with voting. But Republicans should knock out the filibuster, and we should approve a lot of things. You wouldn't have January 30th looming, because, you know, you have the 30th of January looming. You know that, right? And if we knocked out the filibuster, it would be just a simple approval. But you have some Republicans that they're unable to explain why. You know, if you ask them why, they're unable to explain it. They cannot win the debate. But they should knock out the filibuster. And frankly, they should get rid of the blue slips too, yeah.
Mr. President, the Democrats won Miami, where you won the election 1 year ago. Do you think it's because of the Hispanic media like Telemundo that are publishing fake news about the ICE operations? How do you plan to win back those votes for midterms?
Yeah, well, I won that whole election. And, you know, it's interesting. When I'm not running, we don't do as well. Yeah. And I'm going to try and get that changed for the midterms. But we did have a big win in Tennessee, as you know. Matt Van Epps had a big win in Tennessee against a very strong candidate, attractive candidate, who a lot of people thought would do very well, and Matt won by a lot. And I won Tennessee by a real lot. You know, we had a great election. We won every single swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. And there's a thing that they have now, districts, which is a big deal. I think in a way it's the most important stat from the standpoint of, you know, looking at numbers accurately. So out of thousands of districts, I won 2,750 versus 525. Think of that, 2,750 versus 525. It was great. That's why the map, when you see a map of the election, it's all red, other than two little narrow lines on the other side, please.
Sir, Jimmy Lai was convicted today in Hong Kong. Do you have any reactions?
I feel so badly. I spoke to President Xi about it, and I asked to consider his release. He's not well. He's an older man, and he's not well. So I did put that request out. We'll see what happens. Okay? Yeah, please, Katie.
Question about Ukraine. Now that the meetings in Berlin have wrapped up with Zelensky, right, is there a timetable for going to Moscow? Is a delegation going?
Well, I think that the delegation is largely there right now, actually. They're in Europe, and they met with those people that I called out before, the various countries, plus some others. They want to see it end, Katie. They want to see it end. I want to see it end. They want to see it end. I actually think that President Putin wants to see it end. You know, I've had good talks. We've had good talks with Russia, and I think they'd like to get back to a more normal way of life.
Mr. President, follow up there. An Article 5-like deal seems to be emerging without NATO membership for Ukraine. If such a security guarantee is offered, what incentive is there for Ukraine to give up any sort of territory?
Well, look, you have, well, they've already lost the territory, you know, to be honest. I mean, the territory is lost. But in terms of security guarantee, we're working with Europe on it. Europe would be a big part of that. And we're working on the security guarantee so the war doesn't start up again. We don't want to have a war start up again. You know, as I said, with Thailand and Cambodia, two people I get along with great. And I dealt with them, and I called them, and I said, look, fellas, you got to relax. You got to take it easy. They lost. You know, they started the war again, and I got it ended. And things like that are going to happen. War. There's nothing pretty about war, nothing good, and there's nothing you can do to predict what's going to happen. But I think we've made a lot of progress with respect to Russia and Ukraine. I hope. You know, last month it was close to 27,000 soldiers were killed, mostly soldiers, but 27,000 people, but mostly soldiers were killed last month in Russia versus Ukraine.
Is there a time limit on security guarantees?
Well, there's no time limit. The time limit is whenever we get it done. I mean, we're going to try to get it done. We're making progress. It's more difficult than anybody could have thought. I would have said that half of the wars that I got settled, some were going for over 30 years, that half of them should have been more difficult, and they actually haven't been. There's a lot of dislike between the two leaders, you know that. And so it probably makes it a little bit tough.
Have you spoken directly to Putin? Have you recently spoken directly to Putin?
Yeah, I have.
On Syria, Mr. President, on the U.S. troops killed in Syria over the weekend, why do we have troops in Syria?
Because we're trying to make sure that there's going to be and remain peace in the Middle East, and Syria is a big part of it. The new leader is a strong person, and that's what you need. This is a rough part of the world, and it's been amazing what's taken place in Syria. We got rid of Assad, we got rid of other people that were really bad people and that were in the way of peace in the Middle East. You know, we have legitimate peace in the Middle East, first time in 3,000 years, and we have 59 countries backing it. And we'll see what happens with Hamas, we'll see what happens with Hezbollah. But regardless, I mean, we have countries that want to go in and clean that out if we want them to do it. But they said, in the case of Hamas, they said that they're going to disarm, and we're going to find out whether or not that's true. Hezbollah in Lebanon has been a problem. We'll see what happens there. But there is legitimate, large-scale peace in the Middle East. And if there weren't, we wouldn't have been able to make all of those deals that we've made with the various countries. They would have never been able to do that. If, for instance, if we didn't, with that B-2 bomber right there on the desk, if we didn't, of which we just ordered a lot more of the newer version, totally stealth. They could not see it. They knew it was coming. They had no idea where it was. It was pretty amazing, actually. Every bomb hit its mark perfectly, despite CNN trying to say differently. They didn't know. They just, hoped. They hoped that we didn't, but it turned out that they did. Atomic Energy Commission confirmed it. So did Iran confirm it. They got knocked to hell. But if we didn't knock out their nuclear capability, we would have never had peace in the Middle East, because you would have had a dark cloud hanging over Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and all the other countries, and they would have never, ever been able to sign an agreement. Yeah, please.
How soon do you expect that international stabilization force to be up and running in Gaza?
I think that it's, in a form, it's already running. In a very strong form, it's already. But it'll get stronger and stronger, and more countries are coming into it. They're already in, but they'll send any number of troops that I ask them to send. They want to see peace. We have more than 59 countries. We have many countries that aren't even in the Middle East, but they're fairly close to the Middle East. They want to be involved. So it's been pretty amazing.
Mr. President, this week a man named Keone Rodriguez is going to federal prison for creating crypto privacy software. The case was started under the Biden administration, but your DOJ kept it going and secured the conviction. A lot of people in crypto are saying that this man should be pardoned. Are you familiar with the case at all, or would you be interested
I've
in
heard
looking
about
at
it. I'll look at it. Why, you think he should be pardoned? Sounds like it. Sounds like, based on your question.
Many people in the
Rodriguez, we'll look at that, Pam. Okay, let's take a look at it. You'll have to tell me. I don't know anything about it, but we'll take a look.
On Friday?
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, market analysts are calling for a Santa rally. Typically, it's 5 trading days going into Christmas. In the first 2 trading days in January, that's a sign of market optimism. Do you anticipate, along with the historical low gas prices, that continuing into the first quarter of next year?
Well, we've had the greatest stock market in history, Brian. We have a stock market that's gone up 52 times to new highs during a 10-month period, my 10 months. My first 10 months, we set a record. 52 days, we had the highest stock market in history, including a day ago. And I didn't look today. Maybe it's up today, I don't know. but we had 52 altogether, and there's never been anything like it. And the reason are the tariffs have brought vast amounts of wealth into our country, that countries that have taken our car companies, those car companies are all coming back. The AI is coming at levels that nobody's ever seen before. That's going to be a massive industry. Without the tariffs, we wouldn't have that. Chips are coming in, chip companies are coming in from Taiwan and other places, but mostly from Taiwan, which has almost 100% of the market. And we're now making chips, and we're not paying anything. It's not the CHIPS Act where they give billions of dollars to companies and then they just take the money and they run. That was under Biden. The fact that I set tariffs up and that if they don't make their chips here, they have to pay a big tariff. In order to send them into the U.S., they have to be here. You know, tariffs really work, in my opinion, almost only in the United States. They've been used against us successfully because we had presidents that had no clue. But tariffs really work. We have taken in hundreds of billions of dollars with tariffs, and more importantly, we've taken in countries and companies where, and even countries have sent their car-making people into the United States in order to avoid paying tariffs. And they'll build a plant and they'll hire our people to make the cars. But we now have, as you know, Toyota just approved $10 billion in manufacturing plants in the United States using our people. Without tariffs, none of that would have happened. Tariffs have given us great national security. There's nothing like what's happened in the last 10 months. Tariffs have given us tremendous national security and tremendous wealth. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Get the hell out of here. Ah, man, I'm glad that you guys stuck around for that. It's so nice to hear our president actually do the job that they promised us they would do. And with that, my friends, I do want to thank you for liking, subscribing, and for all those new members. We appreciate you. And to finish the chat for this day, we are going to go ahead and bring in the latest video created by the Crime Chef, which everybody loves by now, and have become a fan.
We have breaking news this morning. The Department of Homeland Security announces they will be launching a new immigration sweep in the city of New Orleans.
Operation Catahoula Crunch hit New Orleans like a cold front nobody wanted to talk about. No build-up, no warning, just 250 federal agents touching down and moving through the city with a level of organization that made the local leadership look unprepared by comparison.
Officially launched an immigration enforcement operation in the city of New Orleans today. It's dubbed Operation Catahoula Crunch. I mean, that's the actual name that they came up with, Catahoula Crunch. DHS says it is targeting, quote,
one day the streets were busy, and the next, entire blocks seemed to pause as federal vehicles rolled in.
Federal agents appeared to be kind of getting into position. They didn't appear to be making any arrests, at least from what I could tell. I did see a bit of a police presence.
Officials went on camera trying to calm people down, repeating the same rehearsed lines about everything being normal. But nothing about this looked normal. You don't deploy this many agents if the situation is routine. You don't reorganize field teams for months if the mission is minor. The energy across the city said more than any press conference ever could.
Back up. Back up. All right? I want everyone on that curb right there. All right? That's a safe.
And if the arrival felt like the first tremor, the next question is what pushed Washington to unleash a force of this size on New Orleans in the first place? According to DHS, this entire operation was triggered because New Orleans spent years ignoring federal detainer requests, sheltering individuals who were already ordered to leave the country, and treating immigration enforcement like an optional suggestion. Federal officials say they were left with no choice. Local leaders, on the other hand, scrambled to frame the surge as political retaliation, insisting they're the victims of an administration that refuses to respect their values.
We'll stop it everywhere. We do stop it everywhere. And we had a governor, a very good governor from Louisiana, Jeff Landry, just called, and he said, please do me a favor. Would you send the troops into New Orleans? It's really gotten bad. And I said, we'll do it. We just sent them in, and within about 3 days, everyone said it's like a different place.
But that argument falls apart when you remember the basics. Enforcing immigration law is not optional, and the federal government doesn't need permission from City Hall to do its job.
The family told him, yeah, come on home. We're going to have the doors unlocked waiting for you. We'll be here. And as soon as he pulled up in front of his house, right there in the driveway of his home, immediately another SUV pulls up next to him. Agents get out and pull him from his vehicle and immediately put him into cuffs.
Here we watch Border Patrol surround a man, easing in with steady steps before guiding him into custody like a routine catch. Both stories cannot be entirely correct, and both sides know that. The tension grows because neither side is willing to explain what they're not saying out loud. And scenes like this don't happen by accident. When enforcement moves this confidently, it usually means someone specific was sent in to run the operation.
Welcome to Operation Catahoula Crunch. So it's good to see y'all. Thanks for being out today. Thank you.
Commander Gregory Bovino doesn't show up quietly. When DHS puts him in charge, it's because they expect resistance, chaos, or both. He's built a reputation leading aggressive enforcement operations in major cities, often where local leaders openly oppose federal law.
These are aggressive. There's the slamming of windows. There are U.S. citizens that are getting caught up in these immigration enforcement actions. What do you say to that?
You know, folks are free to criticize. They're free to armchair quarterback. When they don't walk a mile in the shoes of law enforcement, then they might want to think a second before full-blown criticism. I've heard a lot of that. Our officers act legally, ethically, and morally.
His presence alone changes the temperature, and when the pressure rises this fast, it's often because the goal has already been set. DHS didn't announce this operation with vague language or soft expectations. They put a number on it. 5,000 arrests across Louisiana and Mississippi. Agencies don't set targets like that unless they already believe the people are there to be found. City officials keep insisting that most people are here legally, that fears are overblown, and that enforcement is unnecessary. But if that were true, a quota of this size wouldn't make sense. Either federal authorities are completely disconnected from reality, or they already know where enforcement will land. And whatever the reason, the impact was felt almost immediately on the ground. Almost immediately, parts of the city went quiet. Neighborhoods that were usually active slowed to a crawl. Schools reported fewer students. Churches saw thinner crowds. Families stayed indoors, waiting to see what would happen next.
The city here seemed quite subdued on Tuesday. Jackson Square, which is normally a popular tourist area with lots of street vendors selling their artwork and things of that nature, those folks were not there. It appeared to be a bit of a ghost town. Many people have been shutting down their businesses.
That kind of reaction doesn't come from nothing. It comes from people believing enforcement is real and consequences are possible. Supporters of the crackdown say this panic exposes the truth behind years of denial. Critics call it fear-mongering. But when people disappear from daily life overnight, it's because something has changed. And when the streets go quiet like that, the noise usually moves somewhere else. City Hall didn't just get loud, it unraveled. Anti-ICE protesters flooded council chambers, shouting over officials, pushing toward microphones, and turning what was supposed to be a public meeting into a shouting match.
We will suspend public comment if we cannot follow the rules. At this time, I move to suspend public comment on this item. Second. 7 yeas, no nays, public comment suspended. We're on recess.
Leaders tried to restore order, but the energy in the room said this wasn't about debate or policy. It was fear spilling out in real time. When people believe enforcement won't affect them, They don't panic like this.
The crowd was there advocating for ICE-free zones as the Trump administration has begun an immigration enforcement.
This looked less like civic engagement and more like desperation. The volume kept rising, the accusations got sharper, and the sense of control disappeared.
Came here and two city councilors say they can stand with us. Our demands are reasonable. Meet with your community. Meet with the constituents. The immigrant communities are organized and are ready to talk about.
That kind of chaos usually shows up when people think something they've protected for a long time is about to be exposed. And when the heat turns up, leadership starts pulling in opposite directions. Governor Jeff Landry openly welcomed federal agents, praising the operation and making it clear the state supports enforcing immigration law. On the other side, Mayor-elect Helena Moreno urged residents to be cautious, warned of civil rights concerns, and framed the surge as a threat to the community.
About it and be accountable.
This isn't just politics. It's two visions of public safety colliding. One side believes enforcing the law protects citizens. The other treats enforcement itself as the danger. When state and city leadership pull in opposite directions like this, confusion spreads fast, and confusion is exactly what criminals rely on when systems stop working together. But as officials argue, ICE moves forward with its explanation, whether critics like it or not. It says this operation is focused on violent offenders and individuals who were already ordered to leave the country. Critics, however, point to masked agents, limited arrest details, and slow information releases as signs something is being hidden. Demands for instant transparency ignore the reality of safety and strategy.
Constitutionally and with respect for local residents.
Still, the lack of clear numbers fuels speculation, and speculation feeds outrage.
How long is this operation going to last?
Until we get every single illegal immigrant out of this country. That's how long.
Univision, how long is this operation going to last, sir?
Here, notice how the federal agent moves cautiously, revealing only what's necessary while maintaining control of the territory. As the operation continued, the official statement slowed, but the rumors picked up speed. Social media filled with claims of unmarked vans making late-night stops and agents appearing at bus stops and job sites.
I just want to ask you, any suspicions?
Workers traded warnings, and anonymous tips began circulating, suggesting this wasn't just about individual arrests. Some leaks pointed to possible investigations into workplace fraud, false documents, and abuse of public benefits. That matters because in cities where Commander Bovino has led operations before, immigration enforcement often exposed much bigger systems hiding in plain sight.
You can actually see agents chasing several construction workers at a muddy construction site. You can see the agents make some of the men kneel in the mud as they handcuff them and take them into other unmarked SUVs.
If even part of this is true, then Catahoula Crunch isn't about numbers. It carries serious consequences, especially under Louisiana law. State rules now penalize officials who obstruct immigration enforcement, even if they claim good intentions. That means if federal agents uncover wrongdoing, the fallout won't stop with undocumented individuals, city employees, non-profit leaders, and elected officials could all face scrutiny. Entire systems built on looking the other way could collapse overnight. That reality explains the fierce backlash. For supporters of enforcement, this moment feels overdue. For others, it feels dangerous. But laws don't bend based on fear, and consequences don't disappear because they're inconvenient. Put it all together, and the picture gets harder to ignore. A large federal force arrives with a clear target. The city reacts with panic. Political leaders split into opposing camps. ICE keeps its details tight while people demand explanations. Rumors spread faster than facts, and the arrest quota suggests planning that didn't happen overnight. This doesn't look random, and it doesn't look rushed. It looks calculated. And the only real mystery left is how long New Orleans can pretend this story isn't bigger than anyone wants to admit.
Pure facts, pure facts. I know he does a funny narrative on that, but can anybody tell me who killed Robert? Who killed that guy? Because I really want to. Dennis, his son didn't. Who did? Anybody know? Now, what I heard before, it was his son, is what I heard. But I am not going to, speculate anything right now. Allegedly his son. Yeah, that's what I heard. Okay, so now let's have a conversation about this. Okay? So allegedly his son took him and the mom. Now I will say this, guys, you guys know that drugs makes people crazy. Okay? With that being started right there. Now, I also heard that the son was being homeless somehow, with supposedly this gentleman here being successful. Let me tell you a quick story from the Bible. You see, the Hebrews were enslaved for over 400 years by the Egyptian pharaohs. And you guys know about the plagues. And you guys know the atrocities that Egyptian people have to go through in order to release all of the Hebrew slaves to Moses. Well, I find it that the most powerful punishment that was given to Egypt was the firstborn of all Egyptians were dead because they threatened their lives or killed many of the firstborn of the Hebrews. Now, the reason why I mention that is there is a special wording that is given to us in the Bible. Blessed are those who bless you, O Israel, and cursed are those who curse you, O Israel. This man, which everybody on the left side, of course, is defending here, I'm not going to tell you that he is evil because he wanted to save souls. I'm not going to tell you that, he's evil because he wanted our country united. I'm not going to tell you that he's evil because he allows you and encourages you to think for yourself. I'm not going to tell you that he's evil for anything that he could have done good for our country. But let's take a listen. Let's here, number one, let's read the horrible comment. Let's read the horrible comment from President Donald Trump. Where is that comment at? I had it, but I lost power. So let me just go to the Trump war room. That's where I get my Truth Social posts. Here we go. Let's read this comment first. Let me put this right here in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to read it to you. I just have to look at a different monitor. But Donald Trump says, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. That's it. A very sad thing happened. That's the apology. Rod Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Now, there's a lot of people that have a problem with that. Well, let's see if these other people have a problem with what I'm about to read. Now, I'm going to tell you that somebody that's gone, they can't hear, see, nor feel. So who cares? Now, don't you think that it has more weight to actually say something about somebody that is alive? What do you think is more harmful for the person? Anything that's being said after the death of such said persons? Or what is actually said to a living person who can hear, feel, and see? Think about that for a second. And don't try to come in with this little, guilt mentality, because I don't got none. I got no guilt at all. All you leftist people that come into my chat, number one, you come here to hate, to insult, and we see it, we feel it, and we hear you loud and clear. We get it. But that just shows me who you are, and at least I can see who you are. Now, after I'm gone, you can go ahead and say all the nasty things you want about me. Just don't do that about my family. Notice he didn't touch the son or the other kids. Oh, well, they're adults, but he didn't touch anybody else. And he did say, rest in peace. Now, how many of you on the leftist side that hated Charlie Kirk when he was actually assassinated by some lunatic on the left side? How many of you guys said, oh, man, that's tragic. May he rest in peace? No. You guys took to the street. You went and made fun of it. You mocked it. And till this day, you guys are still giving Erica Kirk and the family grief and hate. You guys don't know what love is. So don't come here riding on your high horse of judgment, because you are hypocrites. You guys hated Charlie Kirk for telling the truth. And this is what I said. I am not going to say anything nasty about this guy because he did try to fight for America, or he allowed you to have your freedom of thinking and your freedom of speech. And no, let's read what he says and why Trump has no pity on him. Again, he called it a tragedy, and he said, may he rest in peace. But he does want to say whatever he wants to say, and that's his feelings, and he is more than able and allowed 100% to express those feelings. Now, I'm going to say this quite a few times. I didn't vote for President Trump because he is well-spoken. And he gives compliments here and there, and he makes me feel like an angel that just left heaven. That is not why we voted for him. We need a strong person with a strong personality, with business knowledge in failures and experience on what works and what doesn't work. President Donald Trump is being criticized for the tariffs. I'm 100% for tariffs. I am 100% for how much money we have made this year. And speaking of this year, why don't we go take a look and see how much that is? How much in revenue? How much in tariff revenue? Revenue in tariffs 2025. Let's see if it's been updated. Yes, it has been updated. The last time we checked was $170 billion. It is now up to $195 billion as of September 30th, not including October, not including November, and who knows how much is going to be for December. That is a full quarter of collecting tariffs that we have no amount on yet. Now, not only is he right about tariffs, but he is also right that the border was broken. And as delusional as bold things that I am, millions of illegal immigrants came across, and with millions of illegal immigrants, hundreds of thousands of criminals, gangbangers, mentally, what's the word I'm looking for? Crazy people. Criminals from prisons released upon the United States of America. And the ignorant people that keep defending illegal immigration don't understand. If you are here in this country illegally, I got to touch on this because every single day I'm sick and tired of hearing Trump, 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 his fault, his fault, his fault. The people that are ignorant, that continue to blame Trump for the stupidity of the people that they are voting in. I'm talking about the blue side. You know who I'm talking about. It just gets on my nerves because they don't understand anything. They come in here, say lies. They come in here and insult us, right? They don't give us credit for anything. And yet they think that we are going to listen to them, insult us, telling us that we're liars, that we're hypocrites. And that's not how it works. That's not how anything of this works. So I'm going to go ahead and before I start reading how wonderful this man expressed himself while he was alive about President Donald Trump, let me go ahead and touch up on immigration really quick. A little refresher for all of those who keep going against us on this issue. Number one, anybody coming to the border illegally is a criminal, has committed a crime. Anybody that works, oh, by the way, it's also due for deportation immediately. Maybe a ban from 3 to 10 years for coming back into the country. Number two, you do not have permission to work. That is another crime that you are committing. And that calls for immediate deportation. And also, you could be banned up to 3 to 10 years from ever coming back to this country. And it could be permanent. Number three, by using fraud, by fraudulent documents, by lying to the government, using somebody else's name, using fake social securities, any of those things, you are committing a felony, which will give you due process in court to see how much time you're going to spend in jail, and then you will be deported with a chance that you will never be able to come back to this country. Not only that, but you will never be able to obviously apply for a green card or ever become a citizen of this country. So you pick your poison. You can either come here legally, which, by the way, if you come here in a plane with a legal visa tourist and you overstay, you just broke the law, and that calls for immediate deportation. Very simple. Probably a ban between 3 to 10 years. And you'll probably never be able to come back to this country. Never will you ever become to be a resident or a citizen. Are we clear? Capiche? Everybody understand? All right. Fantastic. Now, with that being said, everything President Donald Trump has done has been accurate. It has been correct. I don't care that you don't like the way he talks. Many leftists that come here, they know I'm a Christian. They don't like the way I talk. But what do I want for this country? I want for this country to be prosperous. I want for this country to stay free. I want for foreigners to come into this country, assimilate, respect our laws, and stop putting other cultures above our American culture. We are a country of a melting pot of cultures, but we can assimilate to each other. See, we can still have some Mexican cuisine. We can still allow to have Spanish in this country. People can still have Chinatown. People can still have Chinese food, Thai food, Vietnamese food. You can have all the cuisines, and we can share all the good things from cultures, but the bad things, we don't want that crap in this country. Period. And that's a big difference. So you will either assimilate to a Western way of life, meaning you're not going to wear a blanket over your face and walk around and hate people when they make fun of your blanket. You're not going to walk around dressed like a damn criminal and you think everybody's going to be happy to see you. That's not how it works. You're going to respect the American laws or you're going to get the hell out of this country. If you're a jihadist Muslim and you hate America, get the hell out of our country. No, we will not allow you to take over our land in Texas or anywhere else. It's American territory. And it is the land of the American people. And as the land of the American people, you need to respect their laws. You don't get to kick an American off a town just because the majority are Muslims. That doesn't work that way. You should be tried for treason and spend the rest of your life in jail. I don't care what religion you serve. You come to this country, you assimilate, and you respect the people, and you are going to port and give for this country to be better, not the other way around. Somalis, 95% of Somalis were given what? Refuge. Refuge from what? They say Somalia is beautiful. It's a piece of paradise. As a matter of fact, every single Somalian says that they love Somalia more than the United States of America. Every single Somalian says they're Muslims. And they love the Muslim culture more than the American culture, and they rather live in Somalia. Well, hey, let's make your wish come true. You can self-deport. You can get a free plane ticket back to Somalia and go enjoy your crime-ridden civilization. You guys don't know what peace is. You guys don't know what love is. You want to go be oppressed? Go be oppressed. To every other migrant that is in here, if you're going to come in here and respect this country, welcome. If you're going to respect the laws, welcome. Help us fight so that the United States of America stays a great country. Now tell me, why do I got illegal immigrants on my chat? Why do I got people that hate me for defending this country? Why do people hate me and call me a traitor because I say respect the law? Why do people call me a traitor or a coconut? Because I say that the United States of America's people has to be first. Now, for those flakes that were once MAGA and they're no longer MAGA because they don't like the way the president has pushed this whole deporting thing too far, it's not far enough. Not for the most of us. Oh, well, what he said about Robert Rainier, now I'm going to vote for them. Shut the hell up, you flake. You are the problem in this country. Get some cojones. Stand up for your country. Even if I was illegal, Mario. Even if I was illegal. You still need to stand up for this country. We'll go ahead and put the other camera on. Don't worry, buddy. It's all good. Thank you for letting me know. There you go. This is the Trump supporting stage. The orange look. That's right. Even if I was an illegal immigrant in this country right now, I would still tell you the same thing that I'm telling you right now. Why? Because I love this country. You know why I want this country to be great? My children were born in this country. And no, I was not illegal, nor have I ever been illegal in this country. So I want to leave something for my children. Don't you want to leave something for your children? Don't you want your children to have a better home? I will assume that you would. I will assume that you would want to leave this country for your children and that you would teach them to love this nation, respect their laws, and to make sure that when they grow up, that they do the same, that they make others respect the law, that will make others be held accountable for their crimes and for their illegal actions. But you know what you're telling your children? By coming here illegally, you're telling, hey, when you grow up, you can tell me to F off. And I can't say nothing because I taught you to break the law. I taught you to disrespect Americans, so how can I expect you to respect me? And that is the problem. That is the problem. How can you not see that? Well, hey, Here we go. For you flakes that voted for Donald Trump and have turned your back on him, let me remind you why you voted for President Donald Trump. And you think you're punishing President Trump by voting for Democrats? You're a fool. You're an idiot. You are punishing your children, your family, your friends. You are punishing other Americans that are free in this country because of your stupidity of voting for Democrats. You don't have the right to complain about high prices. You caused this. And if you were once a MAGA supporter, now you're a flake, you can join the loser wagon. That's okay. No problemo. But I made a decision. When I married my wife, I made a decision. This is the woman that I'm going to love and be faithful to, no matter how much we fight, what problems we come across. It doesn't matter the disagreements. I don't care if sometimes I have to sleep on the floor, which never happens. But I don't care if that was to happen. I don't care if I have to go outside for a breather. When I said I do, I meant it till death do us part. And the only thing that will separate me in marriage is if she is unfaithful to me and I find out. Number 2, I became an American citizen after being a green card holder for 2.5 decades. I said an oath to the United States of America, and when I did that, it's because I am going to be loyal to that oath, and that's what I'm doing. When I said that I was going to vote for President Donald Trump, I knew how he talked. I knew how his life was been. I seen the up and downs on his business deals. I seen the bankruptcies. I see all the things that he had to put up with. I saw the unfaithfulness on his marriages. And I can tell you that by all of the problems and all the consequences that we go through because of the stupid mistakes that we make in life, I can tell you that if we learn from those mistakes, it makes us better human beings. And what better way than to believe in God and His grace and mercy and to repent of our sins and to accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior and to allow Christians to actually pray for the President of the United States of America. You see, when I voted for President Donald Trump, I was 100% sure that that's exactly who I wanted to be my president. That's the difference between me and your flakes. That's the difference between me, a person that loves this country, and one that hates themselves. I can't be bought. Even if I'm not a millionaire, I cannot be bought. Because I was raised right by my mother. Something that most Americans are not. I am surprised of how many patriots are actually raised the right way. I was losing hope on the United States of America until I found Trinity and some of my brothers that have been supporting me here for a while. Trinity's been with me practically since the beginning. Omar. Quite a few people. And they gave me hope to believe that there's still other Americans that love this country, that are still willing to fight and tell the truth. You see, I live in a very deep blue state. It's almost impossible, probably impossible for me to win a race here in Washington. But we're going to do it by God's will. So I'm very happy that a lot of you guys come in here. I know I appreciate you liking, subscribing, becoming members. This is what I do for a living. This is how I earn my money. And I appreciate your support. But more importantly, your positivity, your words of encouragement, your prayers are priceless to me. Your support by subscribing, liking, commenting, positivity. When somebody puts a negative comment on the chat, you put a positive one. When somebody puts hate on the chat, you give some love in the chat. When they reject the truth, you support the truth. Put facts. Sister Trinity puts facts all the time. This is why I'm here. This is why I get up every morning and share and spend some time with you guys. We're doing a live. Nobody talks to you like this on a live. Nobody tells you to love this country. Not on the left side. Not on the left side. The left side tells you to hate your countrymen and to bring in foreigners. That's what the left side teaches you. And we don't play that game. We believe naturally born American citizens should be patriots, civics. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Why? It's a symbol of hope. Many soldiers died to keep that flag raised and to win wars and victories and to be able to make this country what it is today. Migrants have not built this country. When you have that crazy lady here from Seattle, Paikan, or whatever her name is, that Indian lady, she's going to come over here and say migrants like Somalis have built this country. Are you kidding me? They've been here for what, 3 decades? And we got tens of Somalis before them in the 1900s, 1800s. They haven't built jack squat. And let's get it clear. Settlers built this country. Who signed the independence? The Act of Independence? The Declaration, sorry, I'm thinking in Spanish. Who signed the Declaration of Independence? Somalians? Hell no. Hell no. Christian men did. Who built this country? Muslims? Hell no. Who built this country? Buddhists? No. Christian men. Well, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Christian settlers. Yeah, we have bad apples everywhere. But that is a fact. Migrants have come to this country in search of the American dream. They didn't come here to build this country. And one of the reasons why we have immigration open today is to bring people that want to collaborate to continue to upgrade our country. I said it before, let's get rid of all Somalis, all of them, including the weak-ass doctors and nurses and all these teachers and even those who serve in the military. You know why? Because they have no loyalty to this country anyways. If they did, they would support our president. But instead, they called their commander-in-chief a racist bigot. How about that for serving in the military? Do you think we need soldiers like that in our military? Absolutely not. This is how we lose wars. So they can all get their asses deported back over there. And I know a great civilization of people called Afrikaners who have managed to thrive in a desert where death was imminent. They were able to build a whole town, a working town with a postmaster, man, with electricity and dependence with water. They have a whole system, a whole governing system right there locally. Those, my friends, are settlers. Bring all the Afrikaners over here, and I'm going to up that by even more. Every single Christian around the globe, let me give you an invitation. Please come to the United States of America legally. We welcome you with open arms. Apply for a residency and come and make this Christian country even greater. Because together we will be able to stand up to those who wish to cause us harm. Britain is lost. France is lost. All these other socialist countries that were once so proud to accept millions of illegal immigrants are now regretting it because they accepted people into their country that did not want to do anything to make that country better. They only went there because they're locusts. And what do locusts do? They destroy full crops. which is meant to feed the people. When you allow millions of illegal immigrants and you put them in one place, there is no room for them to assimilate. And your people will be kicked out of Congress, out of office, and when they are born in that country with that ideology of a third world country, specifically a terrorist mentality country, you will not be president. They will be president. And then what you going to do? Nothing. Because that president is going to allow more of those Muslims to come into the country. They will kick you out. Think about how destructive that is. Allow Christians, all of the Christians, come on. Come on down. All you Muslims, get the hell out. Go live in a Muslim country. Hey, go to Britain. Go help England and Sweden and all these other countries. They love you there. Go to France. All the Muslims here in America, get the hell out and go to France. Go to Europe. All you Christians in Europe, come on down. We love your accent. Get over here. Come on, get over here. Open arms, come on. That's right. That's right. I come here from a third world country. What is the difference? I assimilated. And that's what we want. Something else you want to say there? Huh? Something else you want to say there? Illegal immigrants in my chat box. Assimilate. Big difference. I don't complain about this country. I love it. I love it. You see the flag? What flag is that? Huh? Honduras? No. What flag is that? That's right. My beautiful beaners on the chat. You got to learn to assimilate. When I go to Honduras, hey, I'm a Honduran. Love the people. Don't discriminate on nobody. Isn't that amazing that we can say that? And I bring no shame to my people. I chat with them on Spanish channels all the time. You know what they say? Man, you're lucky you are in the States. Yeah, I am. I am very lucky and very blessed. Whatever word you want to use. But the fact is, I am not here being a way to the country. I'm not a weight. I love it. I respect it. And I follow the law. And I just want everybody else to do the same. That's a big difference. Don't compare me to illegal migrants. Don't compare me to illegal immigrants. Compare me to every other migrant in the world, but don't compare me to illegal immigrants. For even those who have been in my family illegally, I have told them it's just a matter of time before you get taken. They come from my brother? Hey, they come from my brother. It is what it is. I'm not going to fight that. I talk to my brothers. They become citizens. They agree with me. All of them. Even from Honduras, they tell me, you know what? The people that came to the United States illegally bring shame to Honduras. But you, sir, you follow the law, and that's why you're not a traitor. And that's right. Eat your heart out, beaners. Because this beaner follow the law. I make sure that I stay out of trouble. You see, I graduated high school with a C average, which sucks. But I've been on my own since I was 16 years old. Not once did I think, I am out of money, I need to go rob somebody. I need to go break into somebody's house. Not once. Because my mother taught me to respect other people's property, to respect my elders, and to always follow the law and to stay out of trouble. God bless my mother. May she rest in peace. That's something that you can't say for yourself. If you believe illegal immigrants is a good thing, you can say that for yourself. You can no longer say that you respect or abide by the law. How can you be a law-abiding citizen when you're here illegally? I will ask again, who are the constituents in the communities? Is it illegal immigrants that don't belong there? Is it a migrant that's come here with a tourist visa? It's just here temporarily. Who is your constituents? No visitor, not even a resident, green card alien holder, not even a resident can say they're a constituent. Americans are the only constituents. Why? Because they're the only ones that can vote these people into office. And those servants that are in office, they owe the American citizens their position. They are there to serve the American citizens. And when they do that, residents are blessed. Visitors are blessed. But you don't call an illegal immigrant a constituent because they're not. They don't belong here. Melania Trump is a citizen. Do you not understand? Do you want me to speak in Spanish? Do you want me to speak in French? Parlez-vous français? Huh? What language do you want me to speak so that you don't understand? Illegal, it's illegal. If you're here as a green card holder, hey, God bless you. But if you're illegal, you're not a constituent. What's so hard? What's so hard about that? I don't understand. I don't understand. What is so hard? You know, I thought I made a nice clip so that people will understand how can you stay out of trouble. Well, you know, I like this senator, and I love to play him.
They think vetting people at the border is racist. They're entitled to their opinions, but they've got to follow the law. And all we're doing is enforcing the law. Look, the best way to avoid ICE is don't be in our country illegal.
Duh. You got that? You don't like ICE? Well, don't come to this country. You are not welcome in the United States of America if you're an illegal immigrant. You got it? If you don't want ICE to come after your ass, don't come to this country illegally. I think it's very simple. I don't think it's difficult to understand. It's crazy that people, till this day, they don't get it. And it's crazier that Americans, citizens, support that. That's what's crazy. Here we have Marjorie Trader Green. If you guys haven't visited my website and seen the shorts, well, here's Marjorie Trader Green, and look at the way that people think about when once they were MAGA, now they're just flakes trying to survive on their own.
You say the president put your life in danger. You blame him. You say he fueled a hotbed of threats against me, and that you blame him for the threats against your son.
The subject line for the direct death threats on my son was his words, Marjorie Trader Green.
Really? So Marjorie Trader Green, that was the line that got threats for your family. How many life threats do I get on my live chats over here all the time? You don't want to see ICE, you know what to do. But until then, this is what's happening to those illegal immigrants. That's right. That's exactly what's going to happen. And anybody that decides to come to this country illegally, they also know that's what's going to happen. So if they decide to come over here, They are ignoring all the signs, all the things that we're warning them about. We're letting them know, hey, listen, we love you to come to this country, but it has to be legally. Why do we ask them to come here illegally, guys? We don't. But we ask them to come here legally, because if you can come here legally, that means you were able to pass a vetting program, which means that you're healthy, you got no criminal background, you're not wanted by the law, you got money. That means that you're going to self-sustain yourself, and you can come and be here. And if you want to stay here, you apply for a visa to work. And then once you work, you apply for a resident card. Sometimes, if your visa expires before you get approved, well, you got to go back to your country. And let me tell you this. Even if you are in this country and your visa hasn't expired, you still have to go back to your country, because you still got to go back over there and have an interview to let you know that you're going to have a green card in your passport. But you have to do that at your country of origin. Americans don't know this because they never had to do this. But I have. I've been through the process. I am experienced in the process. And I can tell you, paralegals, they charge thousands and thousands of dollars. And you know what? That just gave me an idea. Maybe I can charge thousands and thousands of dollars to help illegal immigrants fill out some paperwork on the, yeah, that sounds very good, on the government's website. Because I can't guarantee that they're not going to be deported. Neither can paralegals. Neither can lawyers. But they can charge you thousands and thousands of dollars. I know of people that have paid over $20,000, and they have orders of deportation. Let me give you just one little example before we go into the actual note. If you are vetted in the country where you come from, a lot of the people that are here illegally, they come here and they pay tens of thousands of dollars. I kid you not. I kid you not. They sell their houses, they sell their properties, which is so hard to get, by the way, and they get $20,000, $30,000. Listen, with $20,000, $30,000 in the bank, you can go get vetted. You're clean, you're healthy, you got money. You can sustain yourself for at least 1 year in the United States of America. And then you can go through the process of applying for a green card. It works. Very simple. It works. But no, you want to do it illegally. So guess what? There's consequences to that. There's consequences to that. All right, let me go ahead and read what's going on here. Trump mocks Rob Reiner. Is that how you say his name? Reiner? After death. Here's what Reiner said about Trump and Charlie Kirk. Isn't that lovely? Here we go. The death of beloved Hollywood star Rob Reiner. Is it Reiner or Rainer? I can't. Who knows? Robert R. But President Trump took the opportunity to mock. This is the way that, this is the way that they report the news. That's how it is. To mock the couple known for their fiercely democratic advocacy. Now, I wish, I didn't know until this, I wish that they would fight for democracy, but they don't. It's Democratic Party, not democracy. People confuse it all the time. I think that's probably why Democrats get away with it. Reiner, thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, the big picture. The Reiners fought for efforts to improve early childhood development and advocated for the LGBT blah, 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 blah rights, of course. In recent years, Bob Reiner warned that Trump's political rise was a threat to the American democracy. Okay. Axios is one to ignore. Yeah. Well, I'm finding out now, Margaret. Here we go. Catch up quick. Reiner and his wife, Michelle, were found dead at their home in Los Angeles this weekend. The police arrested the couple's son, Nick Reiner, in connection with the killings, according to police documents. Let's take a look at these police documents. Booking, sex, blah, 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 1993, 32 years old. Height 6'3", weighs 230. Okay, sure. All right. And then Trump suggested Reiner's death, which is still under investigation by Los Angeles police, was because of the director's political views. Well, he has the right to his opinion. We know there was drugs involved. Prominent MAGA voices and Republican lawmakers distance themselves from Trump's remarks because they're flakes, because they're wusses, because they don't know how to defend their president. They're a bunch of morons. I'm telling you, I should go be a lawyer. Maybe I can make that money and actually do something to defend our president. Their little studies and laws, you know what? They don't know jack squat on how to make sense in court. I see these guys start to defend somebody and they lie out their teeth, and that's why they lose. They're stupid. They don't know how to strategize, and that's why they lose in court. Somebody tried to represent a friend of mine in court, and I listened to the whole thing, and I'm just like, why do you have this guy representing you? He's freaking putting you in jail. Like, you don't need a prosecuting attorney. Your lawyer that you got is going to get your ass in jail. I said, ask the judge if I can speak on your behalf. I went and talked to the judge. Believe it or not, that loser lawyer almost got his ass in jail and was telling him to plead guilty. And when I talked to the court, to the judge, they dismissed the case. How about that? Without a lawyer degree. Just by simply giving the information to the judge of how things happened. Unbelievable. What Rovers said about Donald Trump. Well, let's see if it says everything. Here we go. It says, Reiner largely backed Democrat Hillary Clinton. Of course, why not? It's okay. They can do whatever. And sharply criticized Trump following his victory. Now, let me tell you something. You think that what President Donald Trump said was mean and divisive? Look at all the words that they put here on my chat. Yeah, that's the same people. Listen to what they say about me. Very simple. Come to my channel, listen to what they say about me, and then go ahead and come in and judge President Donald Trump. You're going to say President Donald Trump is a saint, an angel sent from God, when you listen to the comments of the libtards that come into my chat. I will not defend them at all. By the way, just so you guys know, this live is a two-part live because I lost power. But we're about to hit 300,000 views combined. So thank you guys for liking and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you for that love and support. And I believe we also passed, we passed 13.6 thousand subscribers. Aztec, well, welcome back. You better behave, bro. You better behave if it's the right Aztec. Reiner helped launch the committee to investigate Russia, which examined potential Russian interference in American election. And what did we find about Russia? President Donald Trump said that's a hoax, that's a lie, stop it, drop it. Hey, drop it, drop it. Hey, drop it. It's a hoax, it's a lie, hoax, lie. And he doubled down, and Hillary Clinton and Obama and Shifty Shift and everybody else on the swamp, they doubled down saying that President Donald Trump was corrupted with Russia collusion. Shifty Shift kept telling us, how many times? We got thousands of proofs and documents that says that President Donald Trump is guilty, and we're going to prove it. 4 years went by. How much money did they make? Anybody? How much money did they make You know what? That's a good question. I want to know. I want to know. How much did it cost to try to impeach President? Let's see if they show it. President Donald J. Trump. Let's see if we get any information. I'm not going to lie. I'll be very surprised if they show me. Let's see. Okay, so in 2019, this is not 16, 17, 18. This is just 19 and 21. They spent $3.6 million from the Heritage Foundation. Wow, that's what it's for. Now I know. I brought it. Yahoo Finance estimated calculated the compensation for all members of Congress and staff over the 33 days spent on the process. Get this. For all you libtards out there that come into my chat supporting these things, they made $11.5 million in 33 days. Wow. Roll call estimated the House inquiry cost $1.83 million. The second impeachment was shorter, and it estimated Anchor Place the second impeachment cost at approximately $1.9 million. You people are eating all the lies from the Democratic Party, and in the meantime, all they are doing is getting richer and richer by your ignorance and by the hate that you have learned to believe against President Donald Trump because of the lies that they've told you, because of the smears and the little leaks to the legacy media. That's right. You believe it because the legacy media proves it. And what have we learned about Nancy Pelosi? If you have been on my follower on my channel and you're a libtard that comes here all the time, you will know that Nancy Pelosi likes to play this game called smear the opponent. They tell a lie about their opponents, and they leak information to the legacy media, wait for them to run with the news that something was leaked by an unknown whistleblower. And then once that news goes out there with a story, now they call a press conference. And then the trap is set. And then all the people that don't think outside the box, that just want to support their party, not their country, they don't get to see that they are being lied to. And then you have libtards that go over there. Oh, CNN says this. Yeah, that's right. He would call them fake news because they tell the truth on him all the time. Well, I watched Jim Acosta put his foot in his mouth every single day he went to the White House against President Donald Trump. And I thought, what a moron. How is he able to call himself a reporter? Reporters don't have conspiracy theories. Reporters report what's happening. They don't make up stories to make money. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We're so slow, I bet you couldn't come up with that information, could you? And that's right, and nobody else saying it but me. Who knows? Maybe somebody else is saying it, but I don't know. Let's continue. 2017. Reiner told Variety at the Dubai International Film Festival that Trump was mentally unfit to serve as a president. In the meantime, he knew that Hillary Clinton was sick. But they didn't want to disclose that. And guess what Russia had against the United States of America? Hillary Clinton's results of her health exams. And they knew, Russians knew, Putin knew that if he was to release that information, it would take away the chances of Hillary Clinton winning the election. But guess what? He didn't have to do that because Trump won anyway. That's right. And that, my friends, is your Russia collusion. Russia, Russia, Russia. You remember that? That's right. And this guy, Robert, was helping Hillary and the Clintons to bring forth this lie. Not only does he talk so nasty about President Donald Trump, not only does he not understand how government works, he says, he has no interest in trying to find out how it works, says Reiner. Zoom in. You have one candidate, Trump, who actually tells you he's going to govern like an authoritarian. Reiner told MS, now formerly known as MSNBC, in 2023. Now, look at the way that he's setting it up. The guy doesn't know jack squat yet about how President Trump is going to govern. He is already setting it up so that people don't understand what he needs to do. He needs to fix our country. Well, guess what you have to do to fix the country? You got to tell people what to do. That's why he has the authority. That's why he's the commander-in-chief. He has the authority to do what he needs to do to take care of this country. That's why dummies like Lyrical here, Lyrical and a Karen, one of the Karens that come into our channel sometimes, I guess, never heard of her, come in here and start saying dumb stuff. I guarantee you that your IQ is probably lower than Somalis, which is less than 70%, which, by the way, it means they're retards. That's what that is. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm not making it up. Go find out. Go find out yourself. Go research. Your IQ is probably a 43, so Somalis are actually very, very, very genius compared to you, Lyrical Ann. Let's see what else we got. Do we want fascism or do we want to continue the 248 years of self-rule? Right, because the oligarchy that the Democrats have, that's really what the people want. Okay, sure. He asked during the interview, do we want to continue democracy or do we want to slip into fascism? This moron, Robert, that is no longer with us, he's the idiot that spread lies to the country. Do I have pity for him? No. Do I think he should rest in peace? Sure, of course. And may God have mercy on his soul. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he needs to listen to these really nice, loving, sweet words. When President Donald Trump is not with us, are you going to do that? Are you going to say nice, sweet little words? Bull crap. If you lie to me right now and say yes, I won't believe you. You know why? Because when Kirk was talking about the love of Jesus Christ, your lunatic leftist took him out. And you laughed about it. And you made fun of him. And you even make a mockery on your protests. We don't forget. We forget, but we don't forget. We don't forget. This country is going to stay free, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Foreigners that come here illegally are invading our country, don't respect our laws, they got to go. They got to go. So do I get mad at President Trump for saying that tweet? Absolutely not. In 2024, Reiner told The Guardian he wants to destroy the Constitution. And what do the leftist libtards that come here once in a while say? Oh, it's unconstitutional. I hear them say it all the time. Unconstitutional, illegal orders, unconstitutional, and it's all BS. Why? Because I research it. Because I see what he says, and then I see what CNN posts on their news. I hear and see what is being done and happening in our country, and I see what ABC puts out. I see what MSN puts out. And I am nobody's fool. Nobody's. And there you have it. There is your truth. There is your truth from this morning. So what are you going to do with this truth? I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to go and research everything that I have said. And then you will understand what I'm talking about. That's right. You know what time it is. Guys, thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. And especially thank you for being members of my channel. I can't do this without your love and support. So thank you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the USA.